Somehow Air-Deraan returned.
That's right. After calling back some strangers we met the other day for some help in return for a hefty sum of cash, we are back to talk about The Bad Batch. That's right, episode 12, is it? Dropped. And I'm here with Luke to talk about it.
Yes, and the person who is here with me is, of course, Freddy.
Whoa, that'd be me.
The big star of Air-Deraan itself.
Oh my god.
One of the two good things about our bad podcast.
Whoa, what's the other good thing? I'm kidding.
The franchises we talk about.
Wow. No, but
there are two good aspects about Air-Deraan. The hosts and the things we talk about most of the time.
Most of the
With
time.
the exception of the time we talked about Mystery of a Thousand Moons.
Oh, yes. But this is, I believe, episode 38 of our podcast, and we're talking about episode 12 of Bad Batch, which was named Rescue.
Ryloth Rescue.
Ryloth
or
Rescue.
on Ryloth.
I can't remember.
Are we going back to the days of Shadow of the Malevolence or Malevolence's Shadow? Or
No, it
that
was like...
Malevolence Rising, maybe?
Yeah, or Rising Malevolence. I think it was Rising Malevolence.
Well, the episode was...
Malevolence, Rising Malevolence.
Yeah. That was the one thumbnail that I made. Was pretty happy with it.
It was a good thumbnail.
It was Santa Claus.
Yes.
Really, really worth re-listening to just for that bit.
Yeah, that was a strange episode. But before we get completely off track and we haven't even started talking, we are basically talking about, the Bad Batch.
We're talking about the Bad Batch, yeah. We got another new episode. We can jump right into it.
Yeah, so first we'll go into our Star Destructor on the episode.
Obviously, which is our pseudo-segment where we discuss what segments we are having today. And I do say discuss because we do a lot of talking around it.
Yes. So, of course, we begin with our Grand Admiral thoughts.
Indeed. Which are our non-spoilery, vague-ish thoughts about the episode.
Indeed.
And then we go on to our very specific facts about the episode, not even opinions. We're just talking about what the hell happened this week, with minimum tangents.
The objective facts of the episode.
We can change the name if we want from Crochet Granite to what is this, an objective opinion.
I like Crochet Granite though. That is the name of the segment. It is the opposite of the next segment,
which is Nitty Gritty.
Yeah,
and what happens in Nitty Gritty?
We talk about the nitty gritty of the episode. So just all the tiny little details, all the random tangents, and all the random rants, angers, happiness, joy, sadness, grief, Karga.
Ooh, we haven't had a grief Karga episode yet.
No, that's true. Maybe this will.
Mostly because we were naming episodes after Rogue One, the characters instead of Mando characters.
Yeah, and we agreed that no, we should do for the Cassian Andor show. We should name them after Mandalorian characters.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing that we'll have to Rogue One content in a while.
Yeah, that could be entertaining until we run out of Mandalorian characters, and then end up like Dr. Mandible.
I mean, Dr. Mandible, to be fair, will probably be one of the, first people that we pick, because it's not like we named them after the most.
That's true. We've had several Bodhi Rook episodes, though.
I think that our third ever episode was Bor Gullet.
Yes, that is true.
So... okay.
Straight from Saw Gerrera to Bor Gullet.
It's, just keep going up.
Indeed. But following the nitty gritty is...
Following the nitty gritty is a segment that has been awarded 24 Emmy nominations this year.
Whoa, so many.
It is not Mandalorian Season 2. It is, in fact, The Light Side.
The Dark Side.
And the one in the middle.
The Bendu.
The Bendu.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you can't tell from the completely, and I forgot the word again. I had it in my brain. I don't know what it is anymore. Intuitive, yes. The completely intuitively named segment. It is when we discuss a good thing about this episode.
Indeed. Bad thing as well.
Bad thing as well. And one thing that may not have been a highlight or lowlight, but is notable nonetheless.
Yeah, it just
Hence,
exists.
the one in the middle, the Bendu. It exists, and we are, intrigued by it, for better and or worse.
Mostly worse, but mostly better.
It's mostly both.
Whichever you decide, because both is good.
Both is good.
How many times do we reference the road to El Dorado? Genuinely.
I feel like this reference is the only thing we do, and we do it at most once per episode.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think we say that more often than B word or
Are you talking about Borat, the thing that is no longer being censored?
I refuse to say it.
Well, you'll slip up one day.
Maybe.
As we say back home, my wife.
God damn it. The thing is that B-word memes are no longer funny.
Are you
on the
serious?
Internet. Yeah, they've
Were
gone
they
out...
only popular when they were banned on Air-Deraan?
Exactly, yeah, they're no longer popular.
We have way too much power.
Yeah. See,
anything that we ban from on Air-Deraan becomes instantly popular.
I know.
Maybe we should ban ourselves.
Yeah, on Air-Deraan podcast is officially banned. Is that the name of this episode? A banned on Air-Deraan episode? Banned Star Wars podcast.
The episode the left doesn't want you to see.
Whoa! But yeah, that's pretty much the style, the structure of the episode, so I guess we should actually start the episode properly.
Yes. Let's go right into our Grand Admiral thoughts. Named thus because they are, better than general thoughts.
Yeah, so what was your Grand Admiral thoughts?
I thought that this episode was kind of there. Not in any bad way, but I just felt this one didn't really have anything special about it.
Yeah. It was pretty, though.
It might just be that it was pretty, it was very good, but after 12 episodes, I think it's starting to run out of things to do, well for the first time.
Yeah, because this is basically a retread of a lot of the things we've already seen. I mean, I still think as an episode it was good, but I mean, we've seen every part of, literally every beat of this episode we've already seen, and not too long ago.
It is basically the same episode as we had 2 weeks ago.
Yes, and that's not really a spoiler. And also, some of the things that happened, that are meant to be bombshell moments, happened literally at the start of the entire television series, which we'll get onto in spoilers probably. So, kind of dumb.
In any case, I don't think that having just an okay episode is necessarily the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't aggressively bad by any stretch. But I can't even call this a filler arc. This is actually fairly important to Star Wars as a whole.
It's fairly important, but,
it's just...
thematically we've already seen it. That's the only thing.
It had one or two things that were new, but at least one of them was kind of poorly explained so far.
Yeah.
You probably know what I'm talking about, and it's something that we were kind of talking about a little bit last week.
Yeah.
So I think we can just say that it was the whole Hauser situation.
Mm.
It feels both unfinished and like they are never going to address it ever again.
Unfortunately, yes, that's exactly what it seems like. And it, the thing is, it introduces new things, but, well, they don't contradict what we already know from the series, but it's just we weren't sort of given any inclination that it was a possibility until now, when it seems that it's just a possibility of what's going on. So, yeah.
I mean, there is definitely nuance that there could be. We just don't know.
We don't. Well, the main thing is we don't know if they're actually going to do it.
Yeah. Basically, if we sink our teeth into this situation a little bit more.
There's only 4 episodes left. That's the thing. I feel like if they're like treading water this far into the series, are they going to be able to stick the landing properly?
I don't know that they are necessarily treading water. The end of this episode makes me feel like the stage is set for like a final confrontation.
No, I'll explain later why I kind of disagree.
I see. Okay, that is very fair. Disagreements are good. They breed more discussion.
Whoa.
But if we want to get to the proper discussion. Shall we breeze through the plot so that we can get to the nitty-gritty?
Yep, of course. So, like, the episode does not start the way I said it was going to start. It starts with everyone in prison, right?
I do believe that to be the case, yes.
Everyone being...
the big-time Syndulas and... is it like Champ's cousin or something? Or maybe Eleni's brother?
Gobi Glee.
Gobi Glee, yes.
He's like...
Hera calls him uncle, but I don't know if that's like the same way that Onaconda Far is...
an uncle.
Is Padme's uncle.
Yeah.
Which is just an uncle as in family friend. Because he's a Rhodian. Yeah, I was talking about Onaconda Far, that I wasn't sure, that Gobi Glee may or may not be related to the Syndulas.
Yeah, he's...
to Cham or Sham, whatever you want to call it at the moment.
He's blue, so...
Yeah, I don't know how that works in their case. I think they're like sub-species. They have like their own names.
I just thought that they were like skin tones.
They are, but who knows how that works? It's Star Wars after all. Anyway, they are in prison right now.
Indeed. And Hera is not in prison.
Because Hera is out with Chopper, doing some rebelling.
Yep.
And trying to call in help.
Yeah, and she calls none other than Omega aboard the Omicron staff, thingy. Because Omega, off-screen, gave her the comm channel.
Yeah, which Hunter is not too happy about. And he's not too stoked to begin with helping just whomever.
Yeah, because...
he said that they can't help everyone.
Yes, he said you can't help everyone, so what's the point in helping someone, basically.
Yeah.
He didn't say that, but
fortunately, Omega knows exactly what buttons to push.
Yeah. It says, be a soldier.
That's what soldiers do.
They soldier.
Lucky that she didn't say that's what good soldiers do.
Oh god.
That would send the exact opposite message.
So they meet her down in Cham Syndulla's like former base. Not the one we saw in Clone Wars. A different one.
Yeah, a different one again from off screen.
Yeah.
And they scout the place out and realize not only that there are about as many troops as there were on Raxus 2 weeks ago, but that Crosshair is there too.
Dun dun dun, and they're like, we want nothing to do with this. Bye bye.
Especially since they were already spotted by a probe droid that they have all over the
probe
place.
droids that were formerly used by the Separatists for some reason, but are now used by the Empire.
Well, Separatists were using the small ones.
Oh yeah,
Republic
yeah.
has the big boys that you remember from Episode 5.
Of course.
The Empire is kind of cross. The Empire wins in this one.
Yeah, and they figure out that Bad Batch are there. The Bad Batch want to leave. Omega sort of like consoles Hera and sort of says stuff. Omega says that she would try and help her family if they were captured, meaning obviously the Bad Batch. And then like Hera promises them double and stuff. But Hunter doesn't want to do it because it's not strategic.
Yeah, he says that double money wouldn't do them any good if they're dead.
Whoa. Yeah, it's no good to me dead.
But in the end... But in the end, they end up going through with it for reasons that I forgot, actually.
Because Hera and Omega come up with a strategic plan in order to get the troops, in order to get the garrison out of the capital city and towards the refinery by staging like a load of explosions and stuff.
Yeah, blow up all the stuff.
All of the unmanned
all the
stuff.
Autocannons.
Yeah, the autocannons, yeah.
Yeah, the automatic, presumably turbo lasers, but they never shoot, so I don't know if they're green or not.
I assume they look like turbo lasers. They look like the ones in Rogue One.
I wonder what the difference is between a turbo laser and just a run-of-the-mill laser or a cannon.
Laser cannons
is it
are
just
small.
That they're green?
Turbo lasers are big.
Fair enough.
It's like in the Death Star, the turbo lasers looked like they were small, but they were actually like super big. It's just like, you know, size, perspective, and that.
To be fair, they were pretty far away.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were small in comparison to the Death Star, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Those cannons would look big on anything but the Death Star.
Yeah. But Chopper was going to be, like, disabling the autocannons. You know, by, like, strolling up. Basically doing stuff he always does in Rebels. And then, when they disabled autocannons, Wrecker and Tech were going to, like, blow up a load of stuff in the refinery, distract the garrison from the capital city, while Echo and Hunter, you know, the two clones famous for all having 4 arms in order to climb, they would climb up the walls and then free Cham and all the other guys from prison and then escape through the front door.
That's a good point. Echo was...
Wouldn't Echo be better to like
climbing,
use instead of Chopper? No offense, but
he's much less conspicuous. Much less inconspicuous, rather.
Yeah, but you can
Chopper
definitely
still doesn't look like any other astromech ever, but at least he looks less.
Yeah, but the thing is,
like
Chopper couldn't get it done, and he got captured. And because he got captured, Hera and Omega decided, let's go flying.
Yeah, they hijack another one of presumably also Omicron shuttles.
No, that wasn't an Omicron. That was like a cargo version of the shuttle we normally see in Clone Wars.
Right. And hold up, the Zagirian is being loud now. He finally woke up. I'm just gonna have to open the door to let him in. Yep, there he is.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they commandeer a shuttle to make a distraction, which is part of Hera's training to be a proper pilot. Shut up. And and the rest of the bad boys for Batch, they use that distraction to swoop in and do some explodey things.
Yeah, they blow up a load of things. A lot of the garrison leaves the capital city, and then Crosshair was going to go with them, but he kind of realised that the refinery is not the target because everyone from the capital city is leaving, so he's gonna stay.
Yeah, he knows that Clone Force 99 is there. And just as he proved in the episode named Bounty Lost, was it?
No, it was the one before.
Are you sure about that? Because the
Bounty Lost was the one where Omega got herself freed. You know, escaped.
Right. It was the one that's definitely not the tragedy.
Yeah, it was that one.
He knows how they operate, so he stood behind and got himself some, this time proper ACAB, clones with police-style riot shields.
Yeah, and they were like camping out in front of the main entrance of the main building.
Yeah. But what Crosshair didn't know, that our good friend Neil Patrick Harris as Doogie Howser was doing some stuff that is not befitting of a clone, mostly.
Yeah, he was like, bruh, this is wrong. And so was like talking to Cham Syndulla and said, my duty is to Ryloth and to you, and so I'm going to say I'm going to help you escape, so don't go through the front door because you'll be captured. And then I'm going to go out there and tell some of my squad to not do this.
Yeah, which results in the Bad Batch going a different way and getting away, and somehow his plan kind of works. He goes out and talks straight to the clones, tells them, lay down your arms, what the Empire is doing is wrong. Please, if you agree with me, do something. And somehow all the brainwashed clones, well, not all of them, about like a third of them start laying down.
It was
their
only
guns.
4 of them, I think.
It was more than 0, which is still very surprising.
Very surprising considering what we've been told.
Yes. And, but there are by far more of them that are still controlled, obviously. So Crosshair has them all arrested. I am surprised he didn't just shoot them on the spot.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought he might do that, but then I thought that because we think that he might do that, that means he's not going to do that.
Yeah. There may or may not be something that this leads up to, but I'm not holding my breath.
No. But the Bad Batch and Champs and Dula and all of them, they escape, and then they all end up in Ord Mantell, and then, you know, Hunter refuses payment because he's, you know, such a cool guy.
Yeah, who definitely didn't refuse to help originally.
He definitely did not look at explosions.
Yep. He definitely isn't an r/cool guy.
Yeah,
I know it's
r/nice
nice
guy.
guy. But, no,
and
that's Lux Bontari.
Whoa.
Or Lux Bontera? What's his name?
Lux Bonteri.
Terry.
Why is Lux
Yeah.
Bonteri a nice guy?
I don't know. I remember exactly nothing about him.
Wow.
Except like 2/3 of his name.
But yeah, that's pretty much how the episode ends.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a little bit more, you know, Hera is excited about having learned some more techniques from Tick.
Yeah, like how to scramble the
techniques.
signal. Yeah, some techniques.
And Chem is like, well, I was hoping I wouldn't have to fight anymore, but Ryloth needs me again.
Yeah.
Goodbye, my planet needs me.
Literally.
He flies off, T-posing, and the narrator tells us that he dies on his way to his home planet. About 5 years too early.
Exactly.
No, he doesn't die just yet. And speaking of people who don't die, we are once again told that Orn Fritar is not dead.
But
and is
only in dialogue.
Yeah, we don't see him.
Which is sort of what I expected. I think we discussed this last week. That if they only talk about him being injured, that means they realised a bit too late.
Yeah, it's it was lip synced, and you know, it was fairly well integrated into his speeches. So it's not like they had to ADR it way late into development. But
maybe this episode was done later in the development cycle.
Probably. I mean, in theory, they would have like an extra week. I don't know how much that actually means.
Yeah.
But
I do think the last episode was definitely much more, Orn Fritar's not dead. We kind of need to fix this. And then they had time in order to make sure it worked in this episode. Because, like, we may as well go straight on to nitty-gritty. Because we've talked about So, we've talked about this last week, how Orn Fritar literally gets shot in the head.
Yeah, they don't even check up on him, and he's just gone.
Yeah.
And
they literally wheel his body out of the scene on like one of those like wheelie stretcher things.
Yeah, and the only reference that we have for him is like one sentence of, well, you tried to kill him, okay. But it's I am fairly convinced that you're right and they just forgot that he's not supposed to be dead. I feel that they just like cut out a little scene of them like putting a cloth over his face.
Literally, yeah. They do like the Jedi cremation thing.
I don't think they would do that. But,
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably had a little bit more time and like wiggle room to add a little bit of dialogue here.
Yes.
He's like recovering very fast.
Yeah, he's on his way to a full recovery. He'll be right as rain and ready to appear 5 years later in the Lords of the Sith novelization, which we definitely didn't forget because it's actually a foundational book to current canon.
Yeah, it is important for the sequel trilogy to make sense that Vader, in his Vader voice, at least once thought the word snips.
Yeah.
And spent about 2 chapters repairing radio.
I mean, that's so important. But it genuinely was one of the foundational novels to the current canon, though.
It was. It came out in 2015.
Yeah. So...
It had Gutkers in it. Remember Gutkers?
No.
The apex predators of Ryloth and a few other places.
Oh, yeah, the Gutkers. I remember them now.
Yeah, they're like giant ticks.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the insects, not the clones.
Yes. Yeah. It's an interesting decision to figure all of this out for Orn Free Tar. I'm glad that they did try and do something.
Yeah.
In order to not, like, retcon it. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. The worst case scenario was that they were just going to kill him. The second worst case scenario was that they would just ignore that they did it.
Yeah. And I think this is the sort of... the least best case scenario.
Actually, I feel like on their limited time, this was about as good a save as we were going to get.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably better than just having, like, Orn Free Tar just T-posing somewhere in the corner.
Yeah.
But yeah. Maybe one day we will find out that it was actually all according to plan and we're just reading into it too much.
What, they got shot in the head? You literally saw the wound.
I know. Oh well.
Yeah.
We probably won't even remember this in a week's time.
Oh, we forgot to mention, actually, the pre-credit scene of basically Crosshair asking Admiral Rampart for permission to hunt down the Bad Batch.
Yes, that was what I was referring to by the stage being set for the finale, I thought.
Yeah. But the thing is, I have a problem with that, because...
Do tell.
He'd already been given that mission.
Has he?
How many times has he been hunting the Bad Batch? He's been hunting the Bad Batch several times in this series.
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure that the only way that he's actually been on their tail was on Braca.
Yeah.
When he was literally tipped off and sent there. He wasn't given, like, an ongoing mission to hunt them down.
Well, I mean, like, he's already been doing that at least once. If they were going to have a scene when it's big dramatic, he's going to hunt down the Bad Batch, they should have done it at a different time. Because, like, if he had always been set, they've already had their confrontation with Crosshair. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They've already had it.
It is a little bit janky, but I still think that this is different. Up until now, it was, do your stuff, and, oh, they're right there, go get them. And then it goes away, but, oh well, you have other stuff to do. Now, literally all that he has on his plate is find them and kill them. I wouldn't be surprised if, and this is just a little prediction, Vizsla, next episode or two, he will go to Ord Mantell and probably kill Sid. Or, take her hostage or something.
Who cares about Sid? Honestly, she's done bad things. Who cares?
I'm not saying I care, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
That's where they hang out. He will probably buy up all the Mantell mix.
Whoa.
Just hit me that it's called Mantell mix because it's on Ord Mantell.
Whoa. Oh my god, they're an Ord Markiplier.
That literally just occurred to me.
I didn't realise until now either, yeah. Yeah, the thing is, like, this episode, a lot of people were saying that Crosshair is probably going to kill Hera's mum.
Eleni.
Yeah, because she's dead by the time of Rebels. And it would have been a big big moment that would actually have, some weight to it.
Yeah.
It would actually have some consequence to it, because, I mean, so far there's been no character deaths in this entire series, and we're on episode 12. There's been technically no, like, big emotional moments, apart from, like, fake ones. I'm going to say fake ones, because it's like, oh, we're going to leave Omega behind. It's like, you don't trust me? And it's like, we've had that, like, 5 times now.
Yeah. The only character death that we've had was Kanan's master, and that's kind of...
Doesn't count.
That doesn't really count, because she wasn't a character in the show.
Literally.
But, I mean, you don't have to have character deaths to have stakes.
Yeah, I know. It's just that, like... But when a character does not appear anymore and is dead, it could have actually have been a moment of consequence.
I don't think this is the reason why they didn't do it. But I think it's good that they didn't kill her in Bad Batch, because I feel like having like more of Hera's story to be tied into this would make it more of a Hera thing than a Bad Batch thing, because the show isn't about her.
Yeah.
They might be either saving it for something else, or they just don't want it to happen yet. I don't know.
I do want to say that my opinion on Bad Batch cameos has changed over the course of this week. Because I've started to slowly realise that literally every episode has got a cameo in it.
Does it now?
Yeah.
What did the Raxus one have?
The Raxus one?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's a big thing from the show, isn't it? From the Clone Wars show. It's either like a cameo or a revisit to something from the Clone Wars, I mean.
Well, kind of, I suppose.
You go to Raxus, and it's revisiting some of the sets that were probably going to be used for Clone Wars.
Maybe. We have been saying this all the time that a lot of the stuff that they have is reused from what they were going to do.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, also, like, on Braca, the first one you've got Rex, then the next one you've got Cad Bane, then the next episode you've got Fennec Shan's coming back, and Ton Wei, and she's dead. And then the episode after that is, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Was that Ryloth? No, it was the one before Ryloth.
That was Raxus, I think.
And then Ryloth with Hera, and then Ryloth with Hera as well. Yeah, even the first episode had Tarkin and Saw Gerrera, and
I mean, to be fair,
Kanan and Depa Billaba.
That's her name, yes. I mean, to be fair, I don't think that the purpose of the Bad Batch is to break new ground. Ironically, it's to catch up on where things are in the Dark Times world. I don't think it's a bad thing to flesh out the characters and actors we already have, because, we already have so many. And instead of making new characters that will be showing up like 1 or 2 more times and never will be properly fleshed out, I do think it might be better to give like more backstory and more things to do to the ones that we already have.
Then why is it called the Bad Batch? Why do we mainly technically focus on the Bad Batch? I think it's kind of like it's just a bit confusing. Like we said in our predictions episode or whatever that we wanted it to like be an anthology that covers like the Bad Batch or like other characters, other perspectives and stuff. And I said last week how I thought it was fine that they're doing it, but the more I think about it, so they should have just committed to that kind of storytelling from the start. I mean,
and just called it the Dark Times, the show.
Yeah, and then like the Bad Batch could be one of the main recurring things. Like how Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka were in the Clone Wars. But then you've also got other characters and other perspectives. You can then focus for 2 entire episodes on just Hera and her family. You can focus on Rex and finding Wolf and Gregor. You can focus on Kanan. You can focus on all of these characters, and it won't feel kind of weird. Whereas now, like, it's like the amount of times the Bad Batch have crossed paths with all of these characters it's just feeling like they are serving for the writers to write about other characters, it seems. Like, they have to be on this place at this time in order for this formative event for this character, or this character to appear, or, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm surprised I didn't think about it like that when we saw Kanan for the first time, or I might have done, I can't remember.
Tough to say. I see what you're saying, and I do not disagree. That is how Clone Wars worked. That's how the Star Wars comics at the Dark Horse in the late 2000s worked.
Yeah,
they had the Republic, they had the Dark Times, and that's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Quinlan Voss, for example, would be a regular player in that series, but it didn't have to be all about him.
Yeah, the fact about Omega is such an interesting character, but we're not actually discussing or finding much out about. We're being sort of drip-fed tiny things over the course of now 12 episodes. How much can we really say we actually know? We only found out that she's, a first-generation clone only a few episodes ago. I mean, I feel like that, we're not finding out as much as we really think we are. We're not really getting to know these characters as much as we think we are, because we're not spending much time on them and their problems. Instead, we're focusing on the origin story behind the Rancor from Jabba's palace.
And it's not even the same one.
It's not even the same Rancor, because he got them, yeah.
When we started this discussion, I was disagreeing, but now I get it. They're not committing to either way.
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't mind either way. I would like both ways, as long as it's just that way. And the problem with them, oh yeah, let's find out what Trace and Rafa's doing. They're connected to Rex, and it's okay, but we're seeing all of these, the Bad Batch, involved in these other stories when they can't get the time to for their character to have character moments. Instead, they're bouncing off of other moments. Most of the things that have happened in this show are them going to help someone else, or them going to do a job. And that's normally fine, but all of the situations that they have done is them going out of their way to do something else, rather than things happening to them. Things aren't directly involving them. They're involving themselves in other events, basically, in other plot lines that we don't see. We don't see either way.
They've been working with Sid since episode 4, weren't they?
Yeah, I know, and we thought that they were going to ditch Sid in a couple episodes later, because Sid is so obviously not a nice person, and is sort of dragging them into some shady stuff.
Yeah. I was my money was on them ditching her by episode 7 or 8.
I thought they were going to ditch her after the whole Moochie situation.
They should have.
Yeah.
It is a bit strange. Yeah, now I'm really hoping that there will be a season 2 that will commit to either way. Hopefully being more focused on them rather than being the Dark Times the show.
At this point, yeah, I agree. I would much rather it just be the Bad Batch and what they're doing. Although,
if they somehow resolve Omega's storyline by the end of season 1, which I doubt it, but it might be just what season 1 is about. If they don't have Omega with them by the end of season 2, by the start of season 2, rather, it would probably make more sense for it to be less focused on them, because as we've discussed many times, they're not that interesting, and without Omega they will lose the one interesting thing about them.
Yeah, I agree. Without Omega, I wouldn't care that much about them, if I'm being perfectly honest, because they're not actually unique, really.
They're just action figures.
As much as they've technically developed, as much as how Tech is charming at times, he's quite funny in his in his way. Echo is he does his stuff. Hunter does his stuff. Wrecker is dumb. Whatever. We're not really getting much deep characterization. We don't know I don't know. We don't have much time to breathe with these characters.
It is strange that we care about them less than like we care about like, I don't know, Stone or like the racist mustache guy from Ryloth War.
Mustache
Was it
guy?
Boyle? Boyle?
Oh yeah, Waxer and Boyle.
Wax and Boyle.
Yeah, because they have character moments. They okay, Hunter has character moments when he realizes he's wrong, but he's realized he's wrong every other episode about it. It's just like they're not learning. They're not changing their character into something more nuanced. Like
not a whole lot, no.
With Waxer I think it's Waxer. I might be wrong, but the prejudiced one. He realizes how wrong he was by the end of that episode. That was only one episode. And that episode, while it has a lot of action, while it even has Obi-Wan Kenobi in it and Cody, it focuses on two characters with a child that they're rescuing, tagging along with, and it goes through a lot of dialogue talking about what they think about their surrounding, what their character motives and ideas are, and then eventually how they change or get molded by their experiences. Like, you don't really see that that much, apart from maybe the Raxus one, but that was only maybe surface level when they realized that they were wrong about the separatists, or they didn't even really realize that. It seemed like it was only for a job, didn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't have that much of an impact. Like, the only character among them is, as we've mentioned, Omega, and we don't necessarily get that much growth out of her anymore. Like, she still has her moments in most episodes, but not enough to carry it, probably.
I guess at least in this episode, Omega used the strategic thinking that pays off from the Raxus episode. Remember, with the space chess?
Yeah, with Jarek.
Yeah.
And she stands up for herself, I may be a kid, but we don't overact. I know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, but you would have thought by this point the Bad Batch would listen to her. It just sort of cast them in a bad light as well. It seems like no matter what has happened, it still feels like they're not treating Omega properly as part of their team.
Yeah. I think that might be the main issue with this episode. Not that it isn't outstanding in any measure. It's that the faults of the show are catching up with us by now. I don't want to say that the bloom is off the rose or our rose-tinted glasses are off, because I still had a great time with this.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's just things should have been happening more by now.
Yeah, Clone Wars did the anthology, the anthology thing way better, and Rebels did the cast, the tight cast of characters going off on adventures way better than Bad Batch. Bad Batch isn't its own thing. It's trying both of those things. It's trying to be Clone Wars and Rebels at the same time while bridging the gap between them, and it doesn't take the time to just be its own thing and develop its characters.
Yeah.
Imagine if Rebels was like this. Imagine if in season 1 of Rebels you would just get Clone Wars character after Clone Wars character. Imagine if episode 3 they liberate Crix Madine out of prison or something.
Yeah, and Rebels had its own problems, but at least it was consistent in what it was doing.
Rebels was bridging the gap between Clone Wars and the original trilogy far more gradually.
Yeah, and when they brought in a Clone Wars character, it was to make them a cast member, not just a cameo for one episode to throw away.
Rex was a crucial part of Rebels after he appeared.
So was Ahsoka, so was Maul.
Yeah, exactly. And it's and now we're thinking, we're never going to see Saw Gerrera ever again. We might never see Cad Bane ever again. What? Who else?
We'll
probably.
He wasn't even supposed to survive.
Yeah, probably won't see Tarkin if I'm honest.
Yeah, we're not going to see Rafa and Trace.
Not gonna see Cutler Quain.
No. Well, that is the point, though.
No, yeah, I agree.
Stuff like that. We might see, the only person we might see again is Fennec Shand.
I think we'll see her again.
But she was originally conceived for this show, right?
I think it was sort of
for Clone Wars, rather.
Well, I'm not sure if we know for Clone Wars.
For this. No. We talked about this a few weeks back, that she was conceived to be for Clone Wars originally, and then they repurposed her for Mando, and then they repurposed her back for Bad Batch.
No, what we discussed was how her character model was created before Mandalorian came out, and that's because they've been working on Bad Batch for the last 3 years.
I see, okay.
Yeah. So she was originally a Bad Batch character, and then she became featured in Mandalorian.
Well, still then, that still means that she isn't technically a returning character.
Yeah, technically. But release order, I mean, you can say, well, technically, it's a cameo it's a Bad Batch cameo in The Mandalorian. And it's like, yeah, but The Mandalorian came out first, so...
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, you can't really... Yeah, she technically is a Mando character first. I think everyone thinks of her like that, and they're not wrong to.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But I think that is the only reason why she's appeared more than once. That she was supposed to be here all along and not just be a cameo.
Yeah.
I guess Cad Bane doesn't count as 2 appearances, really, since it was from the end of one episode to the next. It was more of a teaser than a second appearance.
Yeah. I think there's only one character from the Bad Batch that is, created for the Bad Batch that I think has had a quite big impact on people, and that is Hauser.
Even though there isn't a huge amount of him, but there also isn't a huge amount that makes sense about him.
No, there's a lot of people simping for Hauser, though. Have you seen the Twitter?
I have not.
Oh my god.
Literally simping for him.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
He's a kilf. I don't understand Hauser. They could have very easily said that since Admiral Rampart doesn't like clones very much and prefers people and conscripts or volunteers, that he specifically asked for them to turn off his chip, but they didn't. They didn't say that, so we can't count on that being the case.
I think the implication is that it's no longer working.
Well, I don't think that can be implied because we don't have a moment where he's blinking like he's regaining his consciousness. As far as he knows, he's always been like this. In other words, he's never been under control.
Well,
far as we can tell.
He might have been further back towards Order 66. What I mean is that he sort of slowly was regaining consciousness before the events of last week.
But that is beyond even conjecture. We have 0 evidence.
No, yeah, I agree, but I mean, it's hard to, especially considering the only other explanation is that, with certain commanders, the Order 66 mode wasn't turned up to 11 with normal clone troopers. But you see that he's able to convince 4 other clone troopers to break their programming or whatever. And it's are they breaking their programming, or are they all able to think for themselves at this point? We don't really know.
Yeah, this was literally the only bit that explored that in any sense, and I really don't think it was enough.
And then, yeah, I agree that I don't think Hauser is going to appear ever again.
Yeah.
I think...
He should, but he won't.
I think that he was mistakenly called ballast on the toys.
Yeah.
Because
it was a first draft name that they then changed but forgot to tell the toy.
Yeah, I think it might be that, because toy manufacturers, the way they work is that they look at like concept art and first draft things for like starships or characters, and then they make their toys or their models after that, and in order for them to come out around the same time, because it takes a while for all of this to be made. That's why like people look at Lego Star Wars leaks in order to find out what's going to happen in the next film or the next TV show, is because they have like advanced view, but not like of the show, but only of the concept art. So that means they have to guess things, like guess functions of ships and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
which is also how you got the Joker Batman figurine for like Batman v Superman. That was never in the movie, but that it had toys tied into the movie made of it, because I guess Zack Snyder was like, wouldn't it be neat if we had this, but they didn't find a way to put it in there.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of like the Lego Star Wars tie-in ship for the Knights of Ren. I can't remember what their starship was called, but when Lego was shown concept art of it, there was no visual reference to what it was, aside from its name and what characters to include with it. So when Lego designed it,
quote unquote characters.
Yeah, but when Lego designed it, they thought it was a tank. They didn't realize it was a starship because they had no reference apart from a piece of concept art.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, so that's how all of this works. So that's why I think Hauser is never going to appear again, and is also formerly known as Ballast. The clone formerly known as Ballast.
Shame that his markings weren't purple.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, so it's a shame we won't see him again. Because it's nice to have new characters.
Never say never. Never say never, but I doubt that he's coming back.
Yeah.
If he is, it will probably be in a comic or something. Then again, we're only getting comics from one point in time, which is like between episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame, to be honest. Like,
I don't know
I'm
why
not saying
they do
that they're
it
getting
like that.
stale. Me neither. It's weird. It's really weird. I think that it makes it easier to make things fit together.
Yeah.
But then again, like, we're getting nothing from prequel times. We're getting nothing from Rebels times. We're getting nothing from the New Republic times, which is a period of time that sorely needs fleshing out.
I agree. I've expressed my dislike for the way Star Wars comics has like a need to flesh out every single thing that happens in between the movies, because I think it leaves no breathing room for either the characters or for new stories to be written later.
But they are new stories.
No, but like there's no room for later. Like, if you want to tell a story set in between episode 4 and 5 with Luke, Leia and Han, it's like, well, sorry, at this time they're actually all using lightsabers. Sorry about that. It's like, oh, great.
That's why they don't necessarily say like when exactly things happen or how long they take. You can still fit stuff in there. It's not like each individual day is accounted for.
I wouldn't
it's
be
like
surprised.
They did this for like a week, they did this for like a week. I'm sure you can fit stuff in there.
I know, but it just seems so jam-packed, though. It's like, I don't like that they do that. They feel a need to flesh everything out.
Well, don't forget that time in Star Wars makes no sense.
I know, but I just still don't like it.
In theory, they have unlimited time to fit in there.
Yeah, but why do they have to fill it all in now? That's what I don't understand.
Well, you never know when they're going to lose their license or stop caring.
Yeah.
Like, if it's going to... It will get jam-packed either way at some point. Like, let's not let's not forget that there is a lot more stuff in Legends in total than there is now for the same amount of time, if not less.
Yeah.
Like, they had their Legacy and they had Old Republic, but still, they're like 20 plus years worth of comics in Legends. Comics alone. You also have books and everything else.
No, the comics have been going on since technically 1977, so...
Well, but those were Marvel comics. Those weren't canon with... or were they canon, actually?
They kind of were. They would occasionally get referenced.
Yeah, true. Like, even the freaking... remember how I told you about one of the clones who appeared in the Malevolence arc, who survived until, like, way after Vader was around, and then saved his life? That story was referencing... Was it the Tarkin, which was like a prototype Death Star or something like that?
Yeah, the Tarkin was used...
From the Marvel comics.
The Tarkin was used quite a lot in Legends material. So the Marvel comics were still, like, part of, Legends. So what the thing is, like, with Legends, though, is that, like, yeah, a lot more has been put in, but, I mean, it's been over a long, long time. As you said, like, there's so many massive gaps that they could explore, but instead they're just focusing on, like, the original trilogy.
Which is a shame, on one hand, I will say that. Then again, they want things to fit in more or less, well, more than less, even though they're not doing it perfectly. This is one way to make it so.
I don't understand why they're not doing it with the sequel trilogy, because that surely needs some, like, explanation.
I think they are waiting until, like, the Mando stuff is done.
That's because not going to be for another 10 years.
They want things to... Well, yes. It's like, things post Episode 6 were untouchable until the sequel trilogy is done.
Yeah.
And it kind of is again, because when they made those movies, they kind of forgot to put in things that fleshed the universe out. So basically, after the Aftermath trilogy and Bloodlines was done, they're like, we have nothing to work with. We have to wait for Mandalorian to set something up.
I think that is pretty creatively limiting, because that's the same reason why we're not getting any story set in between 3 and 4 now, is because Bad Batch has dibs on it. I think that is sorely unfortunate, if I'm honest, because I think it really limits what kind of stories you can tell. It's like probably the same reason why we'll never get like one-off comics set, 1,000 years before everything, or a one-off comic set in between Mandalorian and Episode 6, maybe.
That's probably why High Republic exists.
Yeah, but the thing is that High Republic is just one era.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, they were doing the exact same thing with High Republic, how everything is coming out basically chronologically.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see new things, but like a big part of Star Wars that people, I feel like, kind of forget is how... Well, I don't understand how they can forget this. Star Wars is not a chronological franchise at all. A lot of things we know about, like, Star Wars come from one-off lines talking about the past, which are then later fleshed out. And then those things should also have one-off lines that then are fleshed out later on, So I feel like you shouldn't have to worry about spoiling things as long as you don't give away the ending for, like, new stories. If you just say, like, let's say there's a story set 50 years before the prequels, and they talk about, this is, like, the worst thing to happen on Helios Prime since, like, the age of the Green Moon or whatever, and it's like, what on earth's the age of the Green Moon? And then later on in, like, High Republic Phase 4, you find out the Drengir took over the moon or something. Like, something like that. That could be interesting. Little teasers for things to come in a non-chronological way.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the High Republic isn't quite doing that, but they have a little bit of stuff like this.
Oh
Like,
yeah, the High Republic sets things up for the past. I agree, but the thing is that I feel like they're not going to do that until they're quote unquote like done with the High Republic, and then they'll do the Higher Republic or whatever.
the Low Republic.
Oh, the Low Republic.
The beginnings of the Republic.
The baby Republic.
Yes, the hottest new mascot. And I meant hottest as in sells the most stuff, not,
Yeah.
the temperature is very high.
Yes, I understood.
Yeah, it's the Hot Republic. All the planets are Tatooine.
Whoa. But yeah, like it.
Tatooine, Jakku, and Jeddah. That's the...
Jeddah's pretty cold though, remember?
No?
Like Cassian Andor was wearing a huge parka.
That was against the sand, wasn't it?
I thought it was because it was meant to be cold. You know, like you get cold deserts, don't you?
That is true. Gobi is fairly cold.
Yeah.
It gets very, very cold at night.
Hence, that's why I thought was going on, because everyone is like pretty heavily clothed and like wearing warm stuff.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know.
At least that was
but yeah, like I agree that High Republic is doing that kind of thing as well, and I think that Timothy Zahn's sort of doing that, but with his like unknown regions stuff.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. Yeah, the first Throne trilogy he did do, like the Grisk. Remember the Grisk?
Yeah, who doesn't? Yuzhan Vong?
Well, they are not quite as forgotten as I thought. Like, spoiler alert, but they are actually the big bad of the Throne Ascendancy trilogy.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Yeah.
So, we are getting stuff about them. You're very right. Timothy Zahn understood how this stuff works. Took me a while to appreciate the Thrawn books, but I still don't quite as much, but I like them a bit more.
Yeah. I would like it if there was just more opportunity for more stories, more people creating things in Star Wars, new things, new events, new canon-changing things. You know, not like changing as a retconning, but I mean like big events that make their mark that can then be included or talked about in later stories.
I thought it was pretty good when the Marvel Star Wars comics first started.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
the way that worked was you had a mainline Star Wars, you had a Darth Vader, and then you had like a revolving door of a 4-issue miniseries that could be about literally whatever.
Yeah.
Like you had a Chewbacca one, then you had a Lando one, set like whenever. You had a Mace Windu one from the Clone Wars, you had a Maul one. Of varying quality, obviously.
Wasn't that Age of Republic, Age of Rebellion, Age of Resistance?
That was a different thing. That was a bunch of one-shots, which in theory could have been great, but none of them were really about much.
Yeah, because none of them were canon changing. None of them did like any big things. Because none of them could. They were
Oh, and there was also Poe Dameron comic. How could I forget about that? Yeah, they had New Republic cornered as well.
The Poe Dameron comic, which was basically retconned by the movies.
Well, I wouldn't say retcon, but they did nothing really with it. Like, that comic brought in the idea of C-3PO being like a Lord Varys, like the spy master commanding all the droids in the galaxy.
Which they didn't do anything with in the movies.
Yeah, actually, oh, damn it.
You're getting attacked?
I was killed by the Zyrgerian again.
Oh, no.
A good thing that I have such good command over the Force that I can become a Force Ghost, become flesh.
Whoa. Forced Ghost.
Yeah, Ghostn't.
Yeah.
That probably works better written down.
With the Poe Dameron comic, it was like... they were it seemed like they were setting things up for the sequel trilogy, which this didn't amount to anything.
Yeah. They also went out of their way to explain why Snap Wexley wasn't able to answer the call to come to Crate. But it's not like he was going to be important after, because he died immediately in episode 9.
Yeah, it's...
And no one cared, not even his adoptive father. Wedge Antilles.
Yeah. There's, like, no communication between all of, like, these different story people.
No,
as I said, like, the High Republic is probably the exception.
But that's because they're doing their own thing.
Exactly.
They're not tied into the movies yet, anyway.
Until...
Is The Acolyte a movie or a show? It's
the
a show,
Acolyte
right?
is a show, and I think that the Acolyte is going to be driving... Like, when the Acolyte comes out, it will basically be the thing that controls the High Republic.
I thought you were gonna say Dryden Voss.
Whoa. No, but I think that after the Acolyte comes out, everything would be more of a Acolyte tie-in rather than the Acolyte being part of the High Republic. That's my fear, but that's what I think will happen.
It's a fear. I am a bit more optimistic right now, because right now it's the books that are the big thing, and I am hoping that they have learned at least a little bit.
But the thing is that every single time we talk about this kind of thing, every single time I see YouTubers talk about it, like even Star Wars Explained, like, says, yeah, but in reality, book readers are just a tiny part of the fandom, and so we shouldn't feel entitled, or something like that. I'm like, bruh, what? So the books are no longer important? What?
I think that this is a special case, because, like, it's not like a High Republic is the focus of their, like, whole, like, TV production. That is, like, Mando times. I think that this might be the one exception where the TV show won't be the lead. Because, again, they are making one show. And it's about one character. It's not the High Republic show.
Unless it turns out to be a Palpatine origin story.
Which it still can be.
I still hope it isn't.
Yeah. It could be a Plagueis origin story, but I still hope it isn't.
Yeah,
I do hope that it's completely unrelated.
We've kind of already had a Plagueis origin story with the Tenebrious Way. Have you read that?
I have not. What is that?
It's basically about, like, Plagueis' master, Darth Tenebrious or whatever. He was a Bith, and he's sort of, like, training Plagueis, and he's like, oh yeah, all's going well, and then eventually, at the end of it, it's very short, but Tenebrious was the guy that was pioneering the genetic creation in order to create, like, coerce midichlorians to do stuff, which Plagueis later finished. But Plagueis crushed him with a giant boulder or something at the end of the story.
I threw a big rock at him.
Yes.
It was a big boulder. Well, that is no longer canon, though. That came out in, like, 2011 or 2013.
No, yeah, I agree. I was just saying that, like, I would prefer to explore something completely new.
Yeah, it's probably not even canon that Plagueis is an alien anymore.
Oh, that would suck if they make him not a moon.
I wouldn't care too much.
I would be pretty disappointed, because I thought that was interesting. Like, I like seeing aliens in Star Wars, and we are still yet to see an alien as a main character in Star Wars, apart from Chewbacca.
Well, he's not a main character.
Well, yeah, still, yeah.
He's like a sidekick.
Yeah, but, like, there's been no main character aliens, and I'm pretty, like, disappointed by that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Star Wars.
The closest I think we have is Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I guess.
And that's, you know...
That is Baby Yoda. It doesn't really count.
He's more of a mascot than anything.
Yeah, literally.
He's like the Scooby-Doo of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But, like, even less verbal than Scooby-Doo.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's, yeah, there's a serious lack of aliens in prominent roles. Which,
well, you know, the reason is very easy to say. It's cheaper that way, but it's disappointing.
I guess it's cheaper, but...
Well, you don't have to put, like, a lot of makeup on the main character every time.
In no movie have we even had, like, a main villain be an alien.
Well, we will have...
Apart from maybe episode 1, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But they weren't that good. I guess that will change when we get an Ahsoka series. Which, I know that you are very skeptical about. And that being skeptical about the Ahsoka series appears to be, like, the main opinion. But,
is it? I thought it was the fringe opinion.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
I am not the best judge of most things. I myself am hoping that it will be better than that one episode.
I hope it will be better. But I rewatched the duel between Mando and Michael Biehn, and I wanted to gouge my eyes out. And my ears.
It's not that bad, come on. It's not
Michael
good,
Biehn literally
but it's not that
says,
bad.
I wonder who will win. Could be my side, could be your side. As like,
it's not
oh
like
my God.
that's not like that's the worst bit of writing in Star Wars.
No, it's not. I do hope that it has better writing than Mando.
Well, yes, I hope so too. We will have to see. I don't know if it has the same writer. I don't know who wrote. Is it possible that Brian Larson wrote The Jedi?
Oh my God, I swear to God.
I don't think he did.
No, there's no way.
There's no way. It was probably Dave Filoni.
Yeah, because Dave Filoni is like, oh no, I must have creative control over my characters. But yet, when he uses Thrawn, Timothy Zahn doesn't get a say.
Yeah.
Sad times.
Let's dark times.
Whoa. What? Did you see Chapter 13, The Jedi, has the nomination for Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series? Are you kidding me?
Well...
Are you actually kidding me?
I mean, like, it's a big popular thing. It will get lots of Emmys.
Guess who wrote it? Guess who wrote it?
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Just Dave Filoni.
Jon Favreau has a credit on IMDb.
He doesn't have a writing credit on Wikipedia or on Wikipedia.
That's odd.
And that's why Dave Filoni was nominated for the Emmy.
Top review. Best episode. This def was the best episode of the series for obvious reasons. 10 out of 10.
Bruh.
Like, I'm a fan too, but come on. Come on.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, I admit a lot of the Bad Batch has some clunky writing, but I think it has, on the whole, better writing.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Like, there is a difference between having, like, weak characterization and having bad writing.
Yeah. And I think it helps that there's good voice actors as well. And obviously the production is pretty good, like, pretty amazing as well.
Yeah, the production, the goddamn... I haven't been paying attention to it for a while, but this time I really tuned into looking at all the textures again.
Oh, I love looking at the textures. That is one of my favourite things to do in this show.
I really like the way Admiral Rampart's forehead looks.
Oh my God.
Of all things. He just looks like a painted wood puppet. I love that.
You're a forehead simp, you know that?
I'm not a forehead simp.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, all the... What was it? Virtual forehead? What was it that we're talking about?
I can't remember.
What was it? Virtual head?
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
The computer head?
Yeah, you said virtual head.
Yeah, the freaking... what's his face? Don Cheadle in Space Jam New Legacy.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, and Emmys, did you hear that Don Cheadle got nominated for an Emmy for his 96-second cameo in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And he reportedly, like, responded with, what?
Yeah, he's like, all the supporters, thank you. All the haters, get off my back. All the whaters? He did like a shrug emoji -ers. Yeah, I'm as confused as you are, but, you know, let's move on.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, like, it's Disney and it's popular. Of course it's going to get nominated for everything.
I think Luke Skywalker should have got nominated for an Emmy in that series for acting.
Yeah, they really should have gotten best visual effects for Mark Hamill's face.
Yeah, I mean, editing Mark Hamill's face on the Winter Soldier for an entire series. Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
Felt like I was watching the holiday special all over again. I was shown the image comparing holiday special Luke and Luke in the finale of Mando. Have you seen? Remember that?
I have not.
Oh well, Mando looks better than Luke in the holiday special.
I mean, of course it does. If you're looking at the still image, he's not going to look that bad.
True. Did you see when that? Not too long after, Corridor Digital made a circle jerk video saying that we improved Luke Skywalker face animation in The Mandalorian. Did you see that?
I did see that. At the end, they did say that they didn't make it better, though.
I know, it's way worse. I really didn't like it.
But it may have been a clickbait title that we made it better. But they do say, yeah, we didn't manage to make it better.
Yeah, but did you see how so many of their fandom were like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! This is the greatest thing ever!" And then they got like loads of people like saying, "Wow!" Like they were on the news and stuff for people saying, like, YouTube team makes Luke's CGI better than the original Lucasfilm production. I was like, no, they didn't.
But that's not really on them.
I know, but
I wouldn't go as far as saying it was a circle jerk. Like it was clickbait, yes, but it wasn't a circle jerk. It wasn't like, wow, we're better than Disney. Wow.
Maybe I'm thinking of their fans' reaction then.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I've been like quite off Corridor Digital for a while now. Ever since they changed,
became a reaction channel.
They became a reaction channel. Their Corridor crew vlogs became behind a paywall on their website.
Oh no.
And also that they started endorsing NFTs as well. I'm like, bruh.
NFTs?
Yeah, the non-fungible tokens.
Is that a goddamn...
Yeah, the blockchain thing, but it like uses a lot of power, like a lot, as much as like some countries in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad for the environment.
At least they're not in the burning down the forest crypto business.
Yet.
Yeah, bad stuff.
Indeed,
bad stuff. I still watch them every now and then, but it's not like it's their biggest fan. It's not like they're Gerard the Completionist.
Whoa.
Who is my favorite guy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Is he going to complete the Jedi Knight series?
Tough to say. He did complete Fallen Order.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Jedi Academy recently. I downloaded a mod called Movie Duels, and oh my god, it's like the most incredible thing. Like it has like so many missions, like brand new missions where you can basically play through each movie.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really, really cool.
Yeah, and then you can like set up duels as well, like in your own spaces, and you can like create your own levels and all sorts of things. Like I recreated the Vader hallway scene from Rogue One in Jedi Academy. It was pretty cool.
I love the sound of that. I really need to get back to my playthrough of that series.
Yeah.
But I need to finish all of Kingdom Hearts first.
Oh god.
I just made Kingdom Hearts 3 run on my computer before we started talking, so...
Yeah. Epic Mickey isn't in the same canon, is it?
It is not, no. It's weird that it isn't, because it feels like it would be, but it's not.
Yeah, hasn't it got Oswald in it? Oswald is the Player 2 character.
The Lucky Rabbit.
Yeah.
I think he's like the antagonist of the first one, and Player 2 in the sequel, I think.
Oswald is the antagonist? He was the first character that Walt Disney ever drew.
I don't think he's like the bad guy, but I think the story is, and I only know that because Completionist made a video about it a few weeks ago, that Mickey Mouse somehow changes history so that Oswald becomes the most popular character.
Oh.
And he has to, like, compete with him.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a strange thing.
I never really played it, if I'm honest.
Me neither. It's apparently not super great.
Yeah, it was a Kinect game, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah. Should we instead talk about, like, properly what do you think is going to happen next week?
Are we saying that we're going into Predictions Vizsla?
Probably.
Are we going into In Predictor Cruises?
I think In Predictor Cruises is better. Because it's not only Interdictor Cruiser, and like it's predictions, but it's also foresight that we're going to get it wrong, because it's In Predictor.
Oh, wow. I like that. I definitely did think of that when I came up with that name.
Yes, definitely. So what is your In Predictor Cruiser squadron?
Well, my In Predictor is based on the fact that I once again know the title of next week's episode.
Oh my god!
Which is Infestation.
So maybe it's Infest Nest. No,
I don't think so.
I'm kidding.
It made me think of a classic episode of Clone Wars, Brain Invaders.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to be that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we touch upon the Geonosians.
I would, because at the moment the Death Star is being built over Geonosis, so that's a pretty big deal.
We know that at least one queen was left over by the time Darth Vader is after Episode 4.
No, but what I'm saying is that they can't go there because the Death Star is being built there. There's no way they would ever let.
Well, they can't go to Geonosis, but they can go somewhere where they might be.
Maybe, but I mean...
Because I think that the one that Vader finds was, like, in the lower levels of Coruscant or somewhere.
They found it on Geonosis. Yeah. Yeah, it was on Geonosis.
Her name was Karina?
What?
The Geonosian Queen's name was Karina.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, you were right, it was on Geonosis.
I don't think it's going to be Geonosians. I think it might be something different completely. Or it might just have nothing to do with bugs.
It might be that the Empire is infesting the population.
Or maybe they get trapped somewhere and there's an infestation of Minox.
Ooh, is that actually makes more sense and would line up with the rest of the episodes. Is that your in predictor, or do you have anything else?
I think either it's going to be something not tied with this episode at all, or it's going to be this episode all over, like this episode or the Raxus episode all over again on a different planet.
You think they would do it 3 times in a row?
Yes.
This close to the finale?
Yes.
That's bleak.
No, it's like, I mean, 3 times a charm, isn't it?
I suppose. Maybe with like a twist to the formula this time, or do you think it won't even be that?
I would like there to be a twist in the formula.
Yeah, because like the first one was like the bare bones version of that. Now we had it like more fleshed out with the whole Hera stuff. In the third time, maybe they'll fail?
Maybe they'll go to Coruscant and see the same kind of thing happening there.
And what is Coruscant infested with?
Clones, I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it is the Empire.
Or maybe the infestation is the rebels. Or, the proto-rebels.
I got a feeling, infestation. I think it might have nothing to do with what's been going on this week. And that it might actually be, like, Crosshair won't appear next week.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Worst case scenario, Crosshair doesn't appear until the finale.
I think I wouldn't hold out on that not being true. But the thing is, like, I would like it if like the infestation is going to be something like, I don't know, maybe Killix. Killix from the Swarm War.
Oh right, that thing.
That as soon as you said infestation was the name of the title, I was thinking of the Swarm War, which is takes place in Legends after the Yuuzhan Vong invasion.
After?
Yes.
This is telling me that it was like about 4 after Battle of Yavin.
No, the Swarm War didn't take place that early.
Oh, maybe that was very different. Never mind.
Did it? I'm on Wikipedia right now, so I'm gonna type it in.
Oh, apparently the Killix were mentioned in a short story last year.
Huh. Yeah, no, the
in a tie into Star Wars Squadrons.
Whoa. The Swarm War happened 36 ABY in Legends. It came after the Dark Nest Crisis, which you might have heard from. It's the name of the series of books.
Ah yes, Dark Nest, Emphys Nest.
Yeah, Infestation.
Darth Vader persona.
And interestingly, the Killix's home planet is Air-Deraan.
Ooh. Also, apparently, they appeared in the concept art for episode 6.
Yeah, because the Killick nests, their hives, are the same things that we also see on Lothal.
And the Lurman Village.
Yeah. So I think it could all tie together.
Wow. Maybe they are also the Grisk, but just called something else.
Yeah.
So the Grisk are both the Yuuzhan Vong and the Killix.
Whoa!
And they might also be the red people who fly around in actual boats.
Oh yeah, did you look them up after I told you about them last week? Was that last week or?
No, that was ages ago.
Yeah, they're weird.
It was definitely more than 2 weeks.
They're from the same galaxy as the green people as well, that are dressed up like musketeers.
I mean,
that's 70s or 80s Marvel Comics for you.
If we can have steampunk walruses, why not green musketeers?
Yes. Well, I hope that doesn't seem like a dour lookout onto the series. I'm enjoying the series as a whole, but
yeah, it's still a fun romp. It's just it could be better.
Yeah. I've got my expectations.
Mm-hmm. And hey, if this is the low point of the Bad Batch, like...
Fair enough.
It's not that bad at all.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Could be way worse. I still would, rate this as, This is, if this was a Clone Wars episode, it would possibly be one of the... Well, not one of the best ones, but definitely, above average Clone Wars episode.
I don't know, actually. I feel like
actually you're right.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Mystery of
Clone Wars.
It's better than Mystery of a Thousand Moons.
Yeah, it's definitely better than a bad Clone Wars episode.
Oh yes, I agree. Yeah,
I would put it above about half of season 1, probably.
I'm trying to think if I would put Blue Shadow Virus below or above.
Well, Blue Shadow Virus had a better villain.
It did, yeah, because, I remember I used to hate Blue Shadow Virus. I don't like Mystery of a Thousand Moons that much. I like the start of Mystery of a Thousand Moons, but...
because it has Nouveau Vindi.
Because it says, it basically... I find it entertaining that they undo the last episode and make the main characters lose.
Yeah.
Which I find kind of amusing.
And that was the case when the latter episode was made, ages after the first one.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because Mystery of a Thousand Moons, as we discussed, was made in, the second batch of episodes that they did.
It'll be interesting to see...
in the second production season.
It'll be interesting to see once we've... when we do, our season roundup, our season, thoughts. It'll be interesting to see the production... order for this series of Bad Batch.
Well, they started doing them in order by the series 4 of Clone Wars. I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with that since then. I don't know if it's the same people who do this, but like the people like at the very tippy top might be.
Yeah. Maybe
like the production people. But yeah, if that information is out, it would be important. It would be interesting to check it out.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that this season might be 16 episodes long, as opposed to 20, because both the first episode and the finale will be 60 minutes long?
I don't think the finale will be 60 minutes long.
But that would put it kind of at 18 episodes, which makes...
But the last season of Clone Wars had...
There was 12, wasn't it?
Yeah, 12 episodes.
But that's like a fairly usual number.
Not for Clone
Wars. And so
Wars.
16, but the first... Not for Clone Wars, but for like TV shows.
Yeah, so that's why I think Bad Batch is just going to be 16 episodes long. I think, like, if the last episode...
I'm probably overthinking this.
If the last episode of Clone Wars wasn't an extra long episode, like, if they didn't combine the last 2 episodes of the Siege of Mandalore into one long episode, which I think would have, pacing-wise, would have worked better, even though I think they're all great, obviously. I don't think they'll do the same for Bad Batch. I don't think they'll have an extra long episode for end of Bad Batch.
Well, they did for the start of Bad Batch.
But I think that was they had a lot to set up. It's like how the Clone Wars started with a TV movie. It's the same kind of principle.
Well, the show wasn't supposed to start with that.
And Mandalorian started with an extra long episode. Like Mandalorian Season 2, I mean.
Yeah, but that's a bit different. Like,
we
it
all
didn't
thought...
start with the expectations to be 20-minute episodes.
I know, but we look like suckers thinking that, oh wow, Season 2 is going to have extra long episodes. This is great.
And in total, it may have had a shorter runtime than Season 1.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, that was so sad.
It's about the same, probably.
Yeah. Which is amusing. But yeah, that's why I think Bad Batch will end just with a normal episode.
Probably.
It's too late right now to introduce. It's too late now to introduce big villains, big new main characters.
Well, they don't have to do that.
No, I'm saying they
They
won't.
can just have it be like one big stuff with all the pieces they already have in motion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
To be fair, isn't that much.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they don't have that much to do. But I think they're going to stick with what they have.
You can just do like an extra long action sequences. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I'm probably thinking way too deep into this.
Yeah. While we're being so fleetingly positive, negative, do you think we should move on to something that sums that up?
That sounds like an exquisite idea, Freddy. Would you like to start out with your light side, then?
Yeah, we're moving on to our light side, dark side, and the one in the middle, the Bendu. So, my light side happens to actually be the amazing visuals and sound design, as we normally get. I mean, I thought it was pretty good in this episode, especially with the... even though it was mostly at night, the fact that you can see... I think is always a pro for nighttime scenes because yeah, that's how it should be. And the sound design was pretty cool. I like the music. The cues for Crosshair was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked all the low droning sounds and like I think they were the brass instruments when at the very end when he was talking to Rampart.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit on the nose, but they set the atmosphere real well.
Yeah, I agree. It set everything out really well, and obviously, as you were talking about, like Admiral Rampart's forehead, number 1.
Yes, I enjoyed that so much. I can't but agree. Another thing I especially liked with them was like how badly painted Chopper looks.
Yeah,
like he probably usually looks like it, but this time it looked like so realistically like badly painted metal.
Yeah, I thought it really had a lot of like that kind of rough and ready kind of feel to it.
Yeah,
it was cool. I liked it a lot.
I'm on the same boat, and I'm trying real hard to come up with a different light side because you already mentioned we've already talked about the the freaking textures way too much.
Yeah, so now you got to think of what your light side is.
I liked even though we've talked about how we don't really understand it and what it actually means, I did like the set piece, if you want to call it that, or like the scene with Hauser talking down the clones.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that was brilliant.
Yeah, if you don't look for answers too much, like, he puts in a good performance. They looked very threatening with their shields and everything, and him staring them down was very good, was quite effective. And
Yeah.
if we divorce ourselves from our fears and pessimistic thoughts about the future of that plot point, it was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a cautious light side.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good one still. I agree with you. I like Hauser on the whole. I wish he would appear more, but yeah.
Well, never say hop before you jump.
Whoa.
Is that a thing in English?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe I'm not cultured.
And speaking of things that are not cultured, let's talk about the dark side, because not being cultured is bad.
Whoa.
What was your dark side for the week?
My dark side was actually kind of we're back at square one now, with the moving of the main narrative.
Yeah, well, kind of. We've talked about this, how we disagree with the nature of Crosshair's mission. But for the most part, it's like my side of the argument is mostly just semantics.
Yeah.
You're not right that it's not a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like we are back to them questioning the morality of like their actions, what they should do. Should they do things for money? It's like this should have been a conversation with Moochie.
Yeah. And Crosshair should have been tailing them since the very beginning.
Exactly,
instead
yeah.
of doing his own thing.
Should have been a conversation with the heckin' droid head back in Corellia.
Corellia?
Yeah, with the Trace and Rafa.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like they did the whole morality of your actions there too. It's like, we're doing this for a better cause. And it's like, and we're doing that again.
That was right after Moochie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was literally the episode after Moochie. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, to be fair, that episode did set up like a chain of events for a little bit, because that tied into freaking Trace and Rafa tied into Rex finding them, and Rex finding them tied into Crosshair finding them, which tied into Cad Bane
finding them, which then turned into Omega returning back to the Bad Batch, and then they get back to square one, and then Hunter forgets that Omega should be part of their team.
Yeah, so in all fairness, like, they haven't been spinning their wheels for too long. In theory, maybe 3 weeks, but still, out of 16 episodes, that's still not an insignificant amount of time.
Yeah, and the fact that these 2 episodes, I fear, aren't actually going to contribute much to the plot. I thought they would last week, but Hauser should have gone with them, maybe. Hauser shouldn't have just been captured. And I know that, like, technically with what the position he was in, he needed to surrender, but the only reason he was in that position is because the writers wrote him to be in that position, so...
I mean, if I give this episode the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gracious enough to do so...
Whoa.
We don't know anything other than the title about next episode. It might well be about Hauser, and the infestation might be the clones whose chips don't work.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Or maybe, like, the chips being an infestation of the mind of clones.
Or that. Yeah, because, like, now that I think about it again, like, this... Even though they've been with Sid for longer than we would have thought, it's not like it was that episodic. Like, now that I said that the droid head thing basically had a storyline going all the way to the Cad Bane stuff, which wasn't all that long ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's been pretty continuous.
Yeah,
so
no,
this
I
one
agree.
Might be,
yeah.
This might end up having even more of an effect than I thought. Well, not more than I thought originally, because I thought that Ryloth would set up the events until the very end. Which kind of... Wow, I'm really talking in circles, because it still might, because now Crosshair is full-time on their tail. Which is different.
It really depends on what happens next week. Because, yeah, if it doesn't cover either Crosshair or Hauser, then, yeah, it will be a bit weird.
Yeah, well, the ball is in their court. Like, even though it has been continuous, fairly, this episode felt a bit stall-y. Kind of like the Bad Batch parts of Replacements.
Yeah.
But, we might, or, like Sanctuary, or or The Prisoner in Mandalorian. All stuff that did end up being tied into the continuation fairly well, but at the time felt a little bit slow.
It's making me think that, are we actually going to get a resolution to these plot lines this season? Or are they actually all set up?
I'm going to say probably the latter. Like,
no!
the resolution that we got is that they freed those people. But that just means that Champ Syndulla is now free to do his thing for the next 5 years.
Oh no, I meant for the entire season.
Well, I think we will get resolution for Crosshair. We will probably get stuff about Rampart. Maybe. But, have to say.
Yeah.
There isn't all that much time left.
Yeah, there's only 4 episodes left.
Yeah. There isn't enough time to blow up the entire cloning facility, probably.
I know, yeah. The one thing I want
is to bring in Jar Jar and have him suicide bomb the Camino facility.
It's not too late. They can go to Naboo next week.
Is that so much to ask?
Dave Filoni.
For all we know, they might.
Yeah?
Blue Shadow virus somehow mutated into insects that are infesting all the Gungans.
Whoa. And then...
That's why you never see them anymore.
Because they're all dead.
Yeah. Is the only Gungan that we've gotten since the prequels that one joke that was Bill Burr's character made in The Prisoner?
Yeah. But we did get in episode 6... In the special edition, you hear a Gungan say "We free" in the celebration
yeah,
stuff.
You're right. Forgot about that. Unless they make that no longer canon.
Whoa.
Which I don't think they can at this point.
Probably not.
Yeah. Oh well.
Imagine if they start editing the movies to make things non-canon and stuff.
I mean, they changed the color of everything in episode 9. That's a major change.
Wow. I mean, unironically, that I don't think it changes everything, but I do think it is a change. Still, it's not like it's not notable. I do think it's notable.
It's not completely insignificant.
Yeah, because I think color grading is a pretty important part of editing.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why some people hate Zack Snyder movies. And it was one of the bad things about the Justice League movie.
Yeah. Weird color grading.
Yeah, that made everything look like a stage play.
Yeah. Weird.
With action figures.
That's a pretty notable thing. But what is a notable one in the middle of the Bendu that you have for this episode?
I hate to do this, but I can't not have the textures, at least one of my pointed...
Admiral Rampart's forehead.
Admiral Rampart's forehead, like the steel bits on the ships and around the doors. I can't just let that be not one of the things. I'm sorry, but
you have to go for it.
I have to go for it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Whoa.
You know, I'm shooting my shot. Maybe if I do this, the concept of textures will go out with me.
That's I understand. I agree that it is pretty cool.
It's just something. But what about your one in the middle of the Bendu? Is it anything more important or interesting?
No, it's neither of those. I was just gonna say, I didn't realize I wrote all of these down before we talked for the first time ever. And I wrote about the Riot Shield clones, because I was going to say we haven't seen Riot Shield clones since, I think, that episode with Duchess Satine when she was on Coruscant. Getting chased by the Coruscant Guard. Do you remember that episode?
No.
It was when, when that guy got assassinated in, that big plaza, and everyone thought that she shot him, so they're, chasing her.
Yeah, I think that rings a bell.
It was basically, it wasn't political.
Rings a bell ZFR.
It was a political episode.
That's probably why I don't remember it too well, because I was a kid who didn't understand what is good.
I liked those episodes. They were interesting. Hence why I like the Banking Clan Rush Clovis episode.
Hence why I didn't like them, because I didn't like the politics.
Yeah.
I was like, get your politics out of my Star Wars.
God damn it. Politics has always been in Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah, but I just thought it was interesting to see riot shields used again. As we know, the Mandalorian police used quite a lot of riot shields.
And as we all know, if they have riot shields and are cops, they're bastards.
Whoa.
All clones are bastards.
What about the Gungans?
Those are not riot shields, come on.
Close enough.
Also, they're Gungans, they're automatically cool.
Whoa.
They're like the opposite of police.
All Gungans are cool.
Agok.
Whoa.
I hate the word Agok.
Yeah, that sounds kind of weird.
No, wait, it would be Agak.
Agak? That sounds like Gak.
Yeah, like the green sludge.
No, as in Gimli Jack.
That was Gick.
Oh, sorry, Gick. How can I be so stupid? So, sum up your thoughts for this episode.
Whoa. Are we having a summary?
Celestin.
No.
No.
It could be a sum-upston.
Yeah.
Cham summary.
Chat. God damn it.
By the way, his wife calls him Sham and his daughter calls him Cham.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's probably because, you know...
They're not in the same studio and probably never met.
Yes. Exactly.
It's never going to stop being funny to me.
Yeah.
That should probably have been not my dark side, because it's not that much of an issue, but that's my side B of one in the middle.
Yeah,
one. It's like, come on.
Yeah. So what is your sham summary?
My sham summary. Okay, you say sham summary, I say cham summary.
I don't like saying sham. Okay, yeah, but what...
We can switch it. Okay. In Western Europe, they say cham summary, and in Central Europe, they say sham summary.
Whoa. But what is it? What is your...
My summary is that I am hoping that this will be an episode that I will appreciate more as the time goes on, because this week I was a little bit let down.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was an interesting episode that I hope the interesting parts of it actually play a role in what is to come more than I thought. So I hope I'm wrong.
That was a nice and verbose version of saying the same thing.
Yeah, no, I know. I said I said I was saying the same thing as you.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
That means that our opinions are objectively correct.
Yeah, this is an objective opinion.
Yeah, because both of the people in this echo chamber are saying the same thing. That means we are correct.
But as we physically cannot be wrong, what is your dissenting opinions, audience? Be sure to tweet us your incorrect judgment on this episode on Air-Deraan, all one word.
Or email them directly to our eyes on Air-Deraan@gmail.com, all one word.
Or you can drop a comment on the YouTube channel, which is on space Air-Deraan, which you can also watch each podcast on.
Or you can drop a message in a bottle in the ocean, and it will probably never reach us because Bristol isn't even by the sea, and I'm in a landlocked country. So
yes, and maybe if you yeet it really, really far.
Anaconda far.
Anaconda, yeah, yeet Anaconda far, your Rhodian uncle, and we'll make sure to read him and throw him back on the show.
Yeah. And you know what they say, all roads lead to Rome. That's what they say.
All roads lead to Rhodia.
Whoa. Maybe eventually we'll meet there and you can tell us in person.
Indeed.
Yeah. You know, in 10 years when we go to conventions.
When we go to Rhodia.
When we go to Rome for the Star Wars convention.
Whoa.
There's probably cons in Rome.
I'm sure.
They do them in Prague and Ostrava. Why not Rome? It's bigger, I'm pretty sure.
When in Rome.
Talk about Star Wars to us. That's also what they say.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what the future brings for us. It's not like we're dying anytime soon, is it?
I know, I'm sure that we'll have a long, prosperous life ahead of us, where nothing bad can possibly happen to us in anticipation of this Rome convention.
Yeah, start booking your tickets now, because that card is definitely not subject to change.
You may fire when ready.